A former Deputy Minister of Power, Jinapor, has described as needless the debate on whether to scrap the TOR refinery or maintain it. He says the TOR refinery can be a cash cow if it is put in good shape with an efficient management.
Jinapor says the TOR refinery produces over 50,000 barrels of oil a day, more than half of the entire nation's oil demands. He says it is out of place for the sector minister to think of a new TOR.
If there's any investment that ought to be made, it ought to be made in TOR. If there's any investment that should ensure that we expand the frontiers of our petrochemical industry in terms of crude oil processing, I believe that it should be made with TOR. I think that it is misplaced to begin to talk of a second refinery. In managerial issues, if there's some level of efficiency that can be worked on, we do that as soon as possible.
The Yape Kusalgo MP says TOR should rather be put to good shape as the facility has the capacity to process the country's indigenous crude oil.
Indeed, when I was a minister, I remember we bought 2 million barrels of Tayin crude oil, put it in TOR tank farms, and requested that they begin to process that. Because we believe in value chain addition. We believe that we cannot continue to import processed products. We cannot continue to import refined products. Because when you take the crude oil and process it here, you create jobs, you save foreign exchange, and the byproducts, you can use it for so many other things.
The former deputy minister explained TOR had always been a tank farm.
TOR has a capacity of 1 million metric tons. That is a huge capacity. It's not a small plant. A lot of money has gone into that plant. So it can be a plant that keeps stock, at the same time process its own stock for its farms. So you can't just resign it to a tank farm. Then what happens to the CDU? What happens to the RFCC? What happens to all those investments we've made? What happens to the workers in TOR? And so it's a strategic plant. I think that the minister should review his plans. That is not what we intended doing. That is why we brought BOST and TOR together.